Is the light at the end of the tunnel a burning effigy of the concept of hope? Quite possibly. Is it the soul of Sky Larson imploding into his own vacuum? May well be that. Is it the ego of Nigel Cass that is now so big that it sucks all the life in the universe into itself? I think that is most likely is that, but we'll never give up, Bug fans. This resistance will never die. And one day, we will again be free. Free from these technological chains, free to choose our own futures, free to live our own lives, free to waste our time watching people bake cakes and dance badly again. Those were the days. Before we go, time for a quick bug off. I'm going to nominate this week Sky Larson here at the Bug. We are all in favour of strong, powerful women. And in many ways, Sky is the ultimate feminist icon, proving that women can do just as abominably awful things to this planet as men. I mean, overall, Alice, I think we're still ahead as men, but you lot are catching up. Fair play to you. You are listening to The Bug.
Did you know that you're legally required to have your optic working at all times?
Don't put the wash on! I left my phone in it!
Life's full of little accidents. But accident or not, the law requires you to carry a working optic at all times. So it's a good job our engineers have seen most accidents you can think of.
I'll have that working for you again in no time.
Whatever the accident, whatever the problem, Com can keep your optic working and keep you legal. Com Mobile.
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening in. They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation that uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis media.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation, and the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is a nation? The nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's just a myth, but that's what they go for. And on that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into one another. But that isn't that rare. I mean, you saw exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany, there were private companies in those camps making use of that slave labor. Fascism often works with corporations, and it's doing the same now. That's the way in which they track what you do. That's the way in which they track who you talk to. They operate as each other's property.
Charles is an expert in the dark arts of surveillance who worked to set up democratic movements in post-communist states. How did it go so wrong in Britain?
We're looking at all the wrong things when we look at Britain's crisis. There's a lot of concentration on data and how that's been used and manipulated. And what we haven't looked at is power structures and the profit that lies behind this. For example, if we examine what actually happened, there's a company that's really very interested in selling passports and making it easy to provide visas for investment and so on. And historically, throughout the world, they've been working with this big data manipulation company in order to overthrow governments. And then suddenly all the chickens came home to roost. Nobody could find any receipts for what was paid for. Nobody could figure out how things were done, but everybody had a feeling that something really stunk, and they couldn't figure it out. And yet, it was standing there in their face the whole time. There's a couple of different ways that we got where it is that we are. And one, you have a lot of smaller organizations, smaller power groups, companies as well, who are bending things just a little. Oh, we'll compromise a little bit, we'll bend the rules a little bit, and try to achieve what it is that we want to achieve that's good for us. And if you add all of that up, what you end up with is a big wall moving in a big way, from a lot of little buttons being pushed. But also there's this other thing that's going on here, is the gathering of data and the analysis of data has authoritarianism contained within its DNA. It is by its nature a tool for authoritarianism, and it has been used in it.
How does big data look into our lives? They cover the crisis.
We're starting to see the merger of private data and that of data held by the state into what are called social credit systems. This is where every aspect of your behaviour is monitored and totted up by a central system. Sort of score you as a person, a bit like a credit card that's predicated on all of your behaviour rather than just the money you're spending. And this can have profound impact. We're starting to see systems emerge which will punish you and...
Learn betray!
Do your thing.
We're being contacted by our potential recruit. Patching them through now.
I owe you guys big time.
Well, if you want to repay us, DedSec's always looking for quality people.
You kidding? Oh yeah.
Civilian needs medical attention. We have an Albion operative on our roster. We should let them know they're needed. Big meeting. your teammate to sort out new accommodations in an Albion holding cell. Have London rents really gotten that bad?
Well, fuck. Let's get this over with then.
Nigel Cass's meeting will begin soon. Approach the Tower of London when you're ready.
London's chaotic scenes, it's worth remembering that the telecoms tower is now owned by Blue. The tower looms over northwest London. It's always been a communications hub, acting as part of the UK's television and communications network. Although there's been some secrecy around its use, and now that Bloom owns it, it's only even more secret.
Yet now everything that's part of Bloom's city surveillance operation is run through the telecoms. Power. And I have to say, it looks completely ridiculous. It's got that silly crown thing at the top and all the blue light.
What's that even about? What does it do? I don't see that there's any purpose to that at all.
It's a blight on the skyline, if you ask me, and it's become the main point of control for millions of people. The system network and Bagley are both operated and streamed from there too.
And don't forget about the self-driving car.
I always thought they were just running on their own.
No, CTOS is the big control system behind the cars. There was a point back in the earliest days of self-driving car technology that they operated by themselves. They used to use a series of sensors to see the world around them. Radar, for instance, would look far off into the distance, while LiDAR would detect objects nearby. And while these cars still use some of this technology, even CTOS and its detailed maps and data that it has on London really makes Blue be able to take control of it. And CTOS can take control of your car if you're parked incorrectly. It's no surprise that it was made mandatory to have a self-driving car.
The system is so bad though, it's so annoying. Whenever I try to use one of the shareable self-driving cars, I always find myself stuck in traffic jams or roadblocks. Not to mention accidents. I've heard so many stories of cars shunting into the back of others. I think they're worse than human drivers sometimes.
The technology was meant to make things better, but Bloom has made it so bad that it just makes London even more chaotic than it was before. I'm giving up on the car. I'm only using the bikes, which are not self-driving at the moment, at least. And don't even get me started on the data. Everything that Bloom sees from your movements around the city and the self-driving cars is collected and feeds back into its big information control system.
Oh, not you and Bloom and privacy again. You're a broken record.
Not as broken as our city cars.
You're listening to The Bug.
May cause nausea, vomiting and headaches. Hello Britain, this is The Bug, the show that holds up a mirror to the world and smashes itself in the head with it in despair. I'm Andy, joining me, as always, Alice, and...
I deny everything.
Good stuff, some good news, at last. There are no medicine shortages, according to the government, none at all. There have been various allegations about that, it turns out they are all fake news, trademark. There are no shortages of medicine. Don't take it from me, I'm not a medical supplier anymore. Take it from our beloved government, it's fine. In fact, I'm going to read between the lines here, and actually so there's probably there's too much medicine, if anything. Just medicines, you can't move for medicine. In fact, just this morning, I tried to pour some cornflakes into a bowl for breakfast, and out tumbled a 12-month course of immunosuppressants, corticosteroids, and anti-retrofungal neurodilatory estrogen spermatotropic fruit pastilles.
The people claiming there are medical shortages are probably high on lots of medicine that they've been. I for one believe that there are no medical shortages, Andy. Just last week I went in with a broken arm and they suggested it might just be extreme period pain and prescribed me a drink of water and an astrology chart.
We can't be too far away from them just prescribing stiff upper lip.
My uncle had a leg removed due to diabetes. They halved his insulin because they said there was less of him.
So, anyway, people don't believe what you read or hear about there not being enough medical drugs to go around. It's not true. Little hogwash, it's pharmaceutical flim-flam, it's medical mendacity, it's Hippocratic humbug, it's nonsensical narcotic nincompoop. I think I made the point. Do not believe the news telling you that we've run out of medicine, nor should you believe The empty shells at the chemist's, they're also lying. Do not believe your doctor saying, sorry, we're fresh out of that, you're going to have to eat a carrot and pretend. And do not believe your own cobweb-ridden medicine cabinet at home. It might look empty, but it's not. For it contains the only medicine any of us truly need. Stirring music, please, producer Chris. Freedom. The medicine of British freedom. And the analgesic knowledge that however ill you may be, Bloom are keeping an eye on things for you.
I'm investing heavily in the placebo effect right now. You're listening to The Bug.
Obviously, I don't entirely mean that, because what is the first rule of the third millennium? If someone in power tells you something is fake news, what is it? Correct. A 110% cast iron tungsten coated.
If we're lucky, word hasn't spread that you've hung up your jackboots. Just try to put on your meek, harmless, broken by the system face. Oh, and don't forget your uniform. Looking sharp. Your ex-colleagues won't pay any attention to you unless you let them take a close look.
I can't work under these conditions. You're making a big mistake.
Who would send this?
A word of caution now we're inside. Any disturbance in here and Nigel Cass will surely cancel his meeting. Avoid being detected by your former colleagues or this operation is...
Intruder alert! Intruder alert!
Nigel won't have anything important on this floor.
You seem to know scads about him, more than most.
Yeah, I was Albion too, if you hadn't twigged to that. Me and Cass were close once. Looked up to him. Pfft, he was bigger than life, fam. Literally a tech genius. And I was just a gearhead kid. I wanted to be like him. That's why I joined up.
Oh, for God's sake.
Didn't find out he was a murderous prick until later.
I heard someone saying DedSec was
They better not be. Just a bunch of terrorists pretending to have morals.
This door clearly requires a security pass.
Fucking great.
Use one of the nearby computers to create your forgery.
Be careful. You don't want to know what Nigel does with trespassers.
There's some parts of this city that need a woodworking reporter with some heavy units. You understand?
It'll take some time for the forgery to be ready. To keep you occupied, I dragged up still images and a recording from an internal investigation into Senior's death.
Show me.
Internal Psych Assessment AS001 Subject Cass Nigel. Mr. Cass experienced a deeply traumatic event when he witnessed the murder of his father, Gareth Cass, CEO of Albion. He began exhibiting symptoms soon after what he frequently described as the random event. Mr. Cass's initial symptoms included insomnia, paranoia, distorted blame, and recurring flashbacks. However, he appears to have channeled his anger and self-described powerlessness into his work to ensure that Albion become, quote, a mechanism for preventing unpredictable violence. It seems somewhat of a mania, edging on psychosis. For me, this raises concerns about Mr. Cass's fitness to run a multinational security company. But I cannot, at this time, make any recommendation beyond continued monitoring, especially considering that I have been asked to close this file.
Fuck me. Almost makes you pity him. Oh, wait. No, it doesn't. He's a dickhead. Can't believe that's who's supposed to be secure in London.
Yeah, well, Nigel's never close to anyone but his dad. And me, I guess. Never had much faith in people, really.
Well, the pass is ready, but rough. If this resistance thing doesn't work out, I doubt you'll make a living as a document forger. Let's give it a go anyway. Nigel Cass awaits.
How's it going? Seems a bit tense.
How are you getting on with those metrics? The deadline is coming up quickly. It wouldn't do to miss it. He's presenting some stakeholders right now.
I'm not.
Welcome to Project Themis. Our new autonomous drones. These drones can identify, isolate, and terminate threats before they can do harm. They can go anywhere, see everything. They could kill a man alone in an alley or in a crowd of hundreds with perfect precision. Themis drones can do what humans have always struggled to. Act immediately and decisively. Without your support, I couldn't stand here and tell you, I promise you, that with the launch of Project Themis, London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
Mr. Cass, I was hoping you'd called us all in here today to discuss the ethical issues.
No, it's all right. The Commissioner cares, as we all do. I admire his passion and his dedication. Let's talk ethics.
Well, for one, Themis goes far beyond Albion's mandate. We really should have more government consultation.
I see. Delay the launch so that we can debate and assess the details.
We're missing the human element here. I can get the Defense Minister on the line right now.
Well, if you feel you must.
It's the human element that got us into this. No more debate, delay, indecision. Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize Themis. Now, will our friends at Titus be ready? You are the cornerstone of the project after all. Do you need to consult any outside parties?
No. We'll be ready.
And just in time. Criminals running our streets. Illegals threatening our families. The police commissioner himself. Assassinated by terrorists. Decisiveness is hard. But here's the best part. Once this decision is made, no more will be required of you.
A building-wide security sweep has been initiated due to document breach.
I warned you about that forgery. Your uniform will help. Don't let them get a close look at you.
Bagley, need an exit protocol.
The catacombs, fam.
Who's this mean?
Saw Nigel in action in there, didn't you? Man can be very, persuasive.
One way of putting it. Another way is he's fucking crazy. I doubt a secret project run by a megalomaniac like him means anything good for London. Shit. Bollocks. I don't like this at all, man. What the fuck was that?
Fucking hell. Albion's top secret project is an automated killing machine. And it looks like Cass is almost ready to launch. We have to get Themis out of his hands.
I'll prepare a briefing. Will we see you there, Hamish?
Pretty face, not risking. Remember? But patch me in. You and me got some scheming to do, Bagley.